This is another update on our project EVO 10, and what we're doing this week is preparing the car with some more modifications for Super Lap, and we are now going to change the injectors. Now the main reason why I've changed the injectors is we've run out of injector to duty cycle. We've modified the car as far as what we can to the point where we're running out of fuel delivery, and with all our modifications we always find the limit of every component from a reliability point of view, but also at the same time to make sure that we don't unnecessarily replace parts unless they need to be changed. Unfortunately these days there's a lot of kits and parts that are changed or recommended by workshops around the world when really there's nothing wrong with them in the first place, but they're only changing because they think they need to be better, but not because they've actually tested it. Well, in our case we've now tested it. We've got as maximum grunt out of the engine we can. We now need to change the injectors, and what we're going to is some 800cc injectors, which are the ones preferred by Ecotec in the UK, and they're tested on the Mitsubishi FQ model as well. The big difference between this injector and a factory standard injector is it's slightly longer, so we had to modify the fuel rail a little bit as well, and part of the kit comes with some modified spacers. But also what's particularly different, you'll notice, is the plugs for the wiring harness. So we're going to have to change the wiring to fit the new plugs for the injectors, and these injectors are the right spray pattern. You'll notice they're not a pencil injector, they've got a very, very fine nozzle on the end. And over on the engine bay, the MRT technician, we've made some small modifications to the inlet manifold to fit the injectors here because they need a little bit of clearancing, and of course the injectors will fit down into these 4 pockets and spray directly into the back of the inlet valve. So there you have it. We've spoken earlier about the injectors and the limit of the factory injectors. Well, now we know what the limit is, the tank carrying capacity on EVO 10, and if you've got a EVO 10 and you're driving it hard at the track or around some fairly tight twisty mountain roads, you'll know that at half a tank on a sustained long corner the car will actually fuel surge, and that means all the fuel moves to one side of the tank and the fuel pump can't supply a reliable delivery of fuel to the engine, and the engine dies, and then you slow down, the fuel moves back in the tank, and then it picks up fuel again, the fuel pump pumps at the engine takes off, and of course that's not good for performance, it's not good for your engine, of course at a racetrack it's not good for your lap time. So what we've done today is fitted a surge tank. Now the surge tank has an additional fuel pump, which is a motorsport pump that you can see there, and it then draws fuel out of the surge tank. Now the surge tank is supplied by the factory pump, so therefore even if the factory pump for a short period of time doesn't have any delivery of fuel, the main fuel pump can draw fuel out of the reservoir of fuel in the surge tank and continue supplying it to the engine in high load situations. And of course then when the in-tank pump picks up fuel again, it continues to supply the surge tank. Now the way a surge tank works is also important, the way it's hooked up. It is constantly supplied by the in-tank pump, but of course it's connected into the return lines from the engine coming back to the tank, so it is always kept full and it's connected into the main fuel system. So worst case scenario, if you run out of fuel in the main tank, the last lot of fuel that you will get will be in the surge tank, obviously supplying the main pump. The tricky part on an EVO 10 to fit a surge tank with an additional fuel pump is some of the lines that come off the fuel tank itself are the new latest edition or technology that the manufacturers use, which are clip-on press fittings. They're no longer clamp-on fittings, and a lot of them are hard plastic lines connected to a swaged-on steel line, which obviously runs down the bottom of the car, you can see here. So above the fuel tank here is the main pump, which is accessible from inside the back seat area. That has to be then modified with obviously where the fuel lines go, so they supply it back to the surge tank, and then from the surge tank has to come back and reconnect up where you've cut the lines into, obviously to then supply the fuel to the engine. So I hope that all makes sense. it'll certainly help you know a little bit more about your Evo 10 and how to make it a lot more fun on the track or wherever you choose to drive it. Of course, as with all our other videos, you can watch us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and obviously we've got a whole heap of other technical information, audio files and technical documents you can download at mrtperformance.com.au. And I hope this video has helped you learn a little bit more about your Evo 10 and how you can improve it. And of course, we're here to help you. And my name's Brett Middleton. Thanks for watching.